Hey everyone. Doing something different today. Well, not really. It's more of the same crap. Just don't know. Yeah. I'm getting that belt on. I'm traveling 20k an hour. It's been a while since I've done a pod. Just been, ultra busy really. I just haven't had time to get down to the studio. So I figured, I've had to go see a customer bright and early today. And I thought, what better way to pass my time? I'm usually speaking to myself anyway. So I figured, why not? I spend an upward of 5 to 8 hours a day on the road on a good day. And I'm usually talking to myself, so may as well just record it. You know what really triggered me to actually say something? And, by the way, this is my work car. It's an absolute banger. It's got 370,000 Ks on the clock. And it is in no way as sound deadening or soundproofing or however you want to call it as my car. This is an old Clankers, so you're probably going to get all the background noise, and quite frankly, I don't care. You know what actually triggered me? I had this whole thing the last couple of weeks. I've been taking notes of stuff I want to say, and a lot of it's just been has revolved around nostalgia. And it's just sort of come and gone, and I just sort of said to myself, you know what, you're making yourself depressed, just leave it, move on. But no, I did something today that I rarely ever do, and that is check the mail. So I've got a PO box that I've rerouted all my mail to, just because I've moved that many times in the last few years, and I never check my mailbox, ever, just because doesn't matter where I've lived, it's always been out of the way. I've gotten used to living in apartments for that long. The mailbox is always, in the mail room or at the front of the building where I never go, because, you typically pull in your car, park in the garage. Why say garage? Garage. Man, you know what my pet peeve is? And I'm getting sidetracked again. So, obviously, when I left my house, I washed my face, and I put my sunnies on, and it starts fogging up because my face has got moisture and warmth between my face and the glass. So the glasses start fogging up. Like, are you serious? My blood pressure's too high for this early in the morning, man. I'm 2.5 minutes in. I'm ready to kill someone. Anyway, moving on. And just like that, I get a notification saying that I have mail. Fantastic. I'm not even going there to get it. My PO box is still out in the sticks because I'd set it up ages ago. And I was just talking about mail. Well, that's great. So the one thing I don't do is check mail because it's out of the way and it's an inconvenience. And I'm at a point in my life where any mail I get is either going to be a summons or a fine or a bill. And now they're onto it anyway because they just email your bills direct to you or just start taking that out of your bank account without you asking. But yeah, so I'm at a point in life where all the mail you get is just a friendly bill, a summons to appear in court, or a fine stipulating that, people are coming to take your shit. But yeah, today I did something crazy and I actually checked the mailbox. And lo and behold, what did I find? I picked it up. It was like a magazine. I'm like, I don't remember getting a magazine. Look, why? They doing junk mail now for magazines as well, that they just ignore the sticker. You put the sign on that says no junk mail. They still give you junk mail. They don't care. They're ruthless. They should have the people that deliver the catalogs and the advertising material. Let's not call it junk mail. They should be used as, if they ever brought back in public executioners or, people to serve death warrants and stuff like that, they should use them. Absolutely heartless, no fucks given. Just ice in their veins. Anyway, so I've reached in, I've pulled out this catalog. It was like back to front. So, they had some ad on the back. And I'm like, what the hell is this, man? I haven't subscribed to anything. And as I've turned and flipped it, just before I put it in the bin, I realized it was the Yellow Pages. And I'm like, Jesus, if I want an indicator of how old I am, The Yellow Pages. When was the last time anyone, anywhere, saw a Yellow Pages? Now, for the kids at home that were born after 2005, which is fucking scary, right? The Yellow Pages used to be like an almanac, the holy almanac of advertising. Yeah, it used to have 2 sets. It was as thick as the frickin', that World Book of Facts. It was huge. You literally beat someone over the head with it, and, that would be assault with a deadly weapon. If you didn't kill a bloke like that, you'd be lucky. But there was always A to J or K to Z or whatever the hell it was. I can't remember how they used to break it up. But there was always 2 sets, 2 in the set. And it was just advertising. It's what, you Google things instead of Googling things, because back in those days we didn't have computers. We had tin cans with strings. If you didn't feel like using the abacus, I don't know how an abacus was going to help you with advertising, but yeah, if you needed a plumber in the middle of the night, you just went to the Yellow Pages. And lo and behold, there'd be a couple pretty ads. Most of us would just skip to the sex ads because that's something that we did back then. You paid $4.95 for a phone line. And you know what? That is probably the biggest disappointment, the biggest missed opportunity. I never got to, by the time I got to that age, not that I could have afford $4.95 a minute, but by the time I got to that age where you were over 18, had my own phone lines and phones and stuff so it wouldn't pop up on a thing at home, phone sex was done. Like, no one was paying for that. Now you got OnlyFans. Jesus, if you want to, there you go. That's how, why even bother talking? I had all this shit written, notes that I want to elaborate on about nostalgia and back in the good old days, and I don't know what the hell I was talking about, but I just wrapped it up. 30 years ago, you had a Yellow Pages where all your advertising went, and you didn't see it as pop-up ads every day. You weren't bombarded with ads. You just had a book that lived in a basement or a cupboard, like a rec room or a junk cupboard or something like that. Mine one was always under the stair. There's a little step in my bedroom. I remember my mum used to fucking stash it there. And one year I lost it. She goes, put these in your room. Like, I don't put them in my room. What do you mean? That's where they go. I go, mate, I don't even use them. This is when Google was there. I Google everything now. I go, I don't use them. You're the only one that uses them. If you want them, put them somewhere else. And that was the end of that. They're probably still in their house when they knocked their house down 4 years ago. So back then, 30 years ago, you had the Yellow Pages for advertising. There were no pop-ups in life where you just pull out your phone and all of a sudden the algorithm knows you're looking at Himalayan walking shoes or Tibetan housemaids. And when you needed something, you went to it. Crisp, cut, done. And phone sex was easy. $4.95 a minute. You never knew what you were going to get. There was no visuals except for a blurry ad, a grainy ad in the Yellow Pages or the back of the paper. And you were done. That call would last 20 seconds and you'd be over. Now, we're bombarded with ads 24/7. You can't blow your nose without someone popping up. The Yellow Pages is as thick as a fucking TV Week. And you know what? TV Week doesn't even exist anymore, does it? I've got no idea. I haven't seen one since I was 10. Again, another thing that's gone. The TV Week was the Bible. The actual Bible in the house. Fuck. Fights over the TV Week to figure out when your favorite show was going to be on. It was just Seinfeld, Simpsons, Brady Bunch, A Current Affair, and that was pretty much it. MASH. I've just named 90% of our childhoods. But yeah, that TV Week was fucking, mate, if you didn't respect it, if it went missing, the old man would lose it. I don't even know if they have TV Weeks anymore. I've got to check it out. Anyway, how am I stuck in traffic? Are you serious? I'm actually sitting in traffic. Oh, God, this is going to take forever. Anyway, I think I've waffled on a bit too much, but the point was that Yellow Pages is literally like 10 pages long now. I mean, who's even using it? 10 pages. I didn't even know you still got it. I haven't seen one. I wonder what it costs to advertise in the Yellow Pages and who actually still uses it. Anyway, I don't know why I went on that long-winded diatribe for 10 minutes. I actually don't know what I was talking about. So what the whole thing was that I was talking about was the nostalgia thing. So a week or two ago, was it two Sundays ago, I ended up going to Sydney for 24 hours. A couple months ago, a friend of mine messaged me and asked me to go see the Midnight. Now, the Midnight, for anyone playing along at home, is a synth pop sort of rock band. That's probably the best way to describe them. It's all synth-driven music, like think 80s, movies and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, cool, why not? I knew about half a dozen of their songs. I knew I'd like the sound. They were sort of like a band that I knew that if I went to a gig, I would enjoy it, even if I didn't know what the music was, yeah? So I said, yeah, cool. And then he sort of stopped the conversation. It was just text. And he's like, oh, actually, it's my missus' birthday that weekend on the same date as the gig. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, there goes that. And then he sort of came back and said, do you want to go to Sydney? Would you be willing to go to Sydney? As I said, all right, jump on, you check out flights, I'll check out accommodation, let's suss it out. So we looked at it. Flights are about $200 a pop. I found accommodation in Piermont for $350, and it was like a 2-bedroom split-level apartment, 2 bathrooms, overlooking the rocks and all that sort of area. I'm like, okay, so you do the maths, add $100 to the ticket, $100 for expenses. So you're looking at $500-600 a piece, to do this 24-hour trip. And I said, you know what? Stuff it. Like, me and this mate, I've known him for about 13, 14 years now. We were neighbors at one point. And I said, you know what? Yeah, we've never done anything like this, like a road trip or anything away. So, you know what? Let's do it. Fuck it. Let's just, let's throw care into the wind. Live a little. Right? And I think I was flush with cash when he told me, so I had no issue. Of course, I didn't pay for dick. The reservation for the hotel didn't come out of my credit card till the day I got there, so I was panicking in the lead up. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, that's what we did. So we flew up, and the funny part was as we're flying in, I've leaned out. He's got the window seat, and I've leaned out over his shoulder, just to look out the window as we're landing, because we did a 7 a.m. flight and coming back at lunch the next day, just in and out. And I've just said to him something like, I don't rate Sydney at all. He's like, nah, I don't care for it either. As we're descending into Sydney, we're already shit-canning the city. They're like, yeah, all right, let's just do this. But yeah, the gig itself was good. Really, really strange crowd. And Sydney's the land of giants. I'm literally the definition of average size, average build. And everyone was 2 foot taller than us. And we're just looking around like, what the fuck's going on? And we put it down to the weather and the rugby and the shit food. I don't know why. The other thing is people don't dance in Sydney. I've said this before. So me and my mate sitting there just grooving along, doing what we thought was a cool moves. But I remembered it from when I went and saw Kiss in Sydney. Paul Stanley had to tell the crowd it was okay to make some noise. You're at a fucking Kiss concert, man. If you go to a Kiss concert and it's packed and there's literally 5 blokes with Victorian driver's licenses that are actually moving and dancing and singing in the crowd, and the rest, everyone else is just standing there staring at them, there's something wrong. But yeah, we knew this about Sydney. But the thing I wanted to share was the Midnight themselves. Yeah, it's a real 80s nostalgic sort of sound. And what's interesting is I remembered it when someone had asked me who the hell they are. So I sent them the Wikipedia page. I hadn't read the Wikipedia in ages. But I remembered the band's motto, which always stuck with me. And the band's motto is Mono No Aware, right? It's a Japanese phrase that, this is literally from their Wikipedia page, so I'm quoting it. A Japanese phrase that loosely translates to a sense of nostalgic wistfulness and the awareness that nothing lasts forever. And that line hits. So nostalgic wistfulness and the awareness that nothing lasts forever. And that's what you get when you listen to their music. You know what I mean? It takes you to a faraway place. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of millennials, especially right now, are starting to go through those cycles because we're sort of approaching middle age. I mean, we're literally middle age now, the new definition of middle age. And it's sort of hitting. And I had a good sort of think about it, like while we were away, because, I mean, I'm doing things that, I've never taken for granted, but at the same time, never thought I would have the freedom to be able to do things like that. Just go, on a random trip to Sydney. The other day, I was driving through regional Victoria, and I was going through towns that I'd gone through as a kid on my way to Mildura, so up the Calder Freeway. I hadn't been through these towns in years. Like, I'm talking, the last time I went to Mildura was it was 2013 when my uncle passed away, so it was like 13 years ago, the last time I took that road, And it really got me thinking just about where I've come from and all that sort of stuff. And I think what triggered a lot of that was just the fact of all the shit that's going on with ICE in the States right now, even here, with the assimilation stuff and the immigration stuff and just that really amped up sort of heated arguments that we're having in regards to all that sort of thing. And it really it's pissed me off. Like, it's actually pissed me off. Yeah. It shits me. It's just frustrating. The hypocrisy, especially like with all the stuff in the States, that's just blanket. Like the world's laughing at America, and we've done it forever. Americans think that they're ahead of the curve and they think they're the trendsetters. But, for the last decade, especially the Trump years, we've looked at it and just said, you people are cooked. How does any of this make any sense? I think it's the ultimate irony is the whole situation with the Superbowl and Bad Bunny. You've got the conservative right coming out, guns blazing, saying, it's anti-American to have a halftime show that's in another language done by, that's the funniest part. Yeah, they keep calling Benito Bad Bunny. They keep calling him, I'm not calling him Benito, he's not my friend. His name's Bad Bunny. They keep calling him, like, people getting caught out calling him an immigrant. It's like, he's Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican is a territory of the United States. He's more American than half these people. He's more American than Donald Trump's wife. Like, literally more American than Donald Trump's wife. Was born in American territory. And they're just like, I can't understand a word of it, blah, blah, blah. This is such a fascist, like, DEI. It's like, mate, I tweeted something about, I can't remember the exact tweet, but it was, hang on, you know what? I may as well just find the tweet because if I don't write it down, I forget. It's just where I'm at this point in my life. I mean, the proof of that is all these notes and shit that I'm doing. Now, what did I tweet? I've got to edit this because this is not going to make any sense. Where are we? Here we are. I said, the same racists acting like Spanish music is too much have been happily doing the Macarena at wedding receptions in rented suits like it's the national anthem for the last 30 years. And that is a fact. No one had an issue with, Spanish music before that. Remember that Las Ketchup song that was like really broken Spanish? Was it Spanish or Portuguese? I think it was Spanish. I can't remember. No one had a problem with that. I mean, given that was, over 20 years ago now. I was still in late high school. I think it was like year 10 when that came out. The people still try and sing the Macarena and do the fucking dance. People embrace that shit. They still do it. But yeah, and the funniest part is it's the far right conservatives that do that shit at like weddings and stuff because they think it's a bit of culture. But they got a problem with Bad Bunny, and then it became about they should have an American act. It's like, he is American, and two, about all the international stars they've ever had headline the Super Bowl. But now it's a problem, about keeping it in America. And the funniest part was the shit show ravel that they had, the bar with the bar, the bang, diggy, diggy. That Kid Rock start up their own Klan rally, Superfest, with, headlining Kid Rock and, I don't know, 2-3 country stars no one's ever heard of. And the funniest part is it just looked like a barn dance, man. It was so weak. Kid Rock got done for lip syncing as well. And it's like, hang on, man. Now they're investigating Bad Bunny because of his sexually provocative, disgusting music. It's like, dude, Kid Rock has that line about statutory rape. Kid Rock's handle was Pimp of the Nation. Like, how is any of this acceptable, according to the far right? It's just fucked. And it's just that whole migrancy sort of thing came up, you know, and it just, the more I think about it, you know, and I mean, we live in Australia. We're a country made up of migrants. You know what I mean? And again, I'm apologizing in advance because I know I'm rambling because I'm just stuck in traffic right now. And this is full stream of thought. You know, I'm a product of migrants. My parents came here from overseas. They met here. You know, my old man didn't have a choice coming here. My mother made an active choice to come here. She was a bit older when she came. And they came here and created a life like everyone else did, you know? And it's like, I hate the whole, you know, we're asking for due process and, you know, they can migrate here, but they can migrate legally. It's like, hang on. You got 2 American citizens that have been killed in the last month by ICE agents who have done nothing wrong, like literally nothing wrong. And they've tried to spin it and call them domestic terrorists. And they couldn't pick 2 more docile, like, you know, fucking carefree, like, neutral people in the world to try and pinpoint as domestic terrorists. And like, is that where you're going? This administration is willing to paint 2 normal Americans. You know, one was a nurse in a veterans hospital, and the other one was just dropped off her kid at school and was just driving home. And they wouldn't paint them as domestic terrorists to avoid the narrative of we fucked up. Maybe we should throttle back. Anyway, and this is the thing. So it's like, you know, they can make the argument of we just want people that are coming here legally and due process and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. What about the people that are literally escaping somewhere, you know, that are seeking asylum because they have no home to go back to? It's like, oh, we'll send them back to where they came from. They don't even know where they came from. You got kids that are born in war zones that are escaping and go from, you know, Afghanistan to Pakistan to Turkey, Syria, you know, Greece, Germany, still trying to find somewhere to wake up to. It's like, heck, you know, they land on your shores because they're fucking desperate. And your first instinct is we don't fucking want them. They're human fucking beings. I don't know. It's really bothered me. I mean, assimilation, we're not saying you have to adopt everything that anyone brings. But it's like, you know, even in Melbourne, you know, like, you've got you got Tarnee, for example, right? I'm in Tarnee once every fortnight or so for work. And there's a big Indian community out there. You know, it's like Little Delhi. And it's, you know, it's all brand new, like it's a new suburb, predominant South Asian sort of population. And you got idiots that would never live out there complaining about the fact that people are living out there that don't look like them. And they're turning it into this and they're turning it into that. It's like, hang on, man. These people have come here legally. They've bought, like, you know, they've bought economic growth with them because they're not living on welfare, social services, the way you got fucking generational bogans doing it. And so what if they build a community to lean on, you know, in an isolated place like Australia? What do you think the Greeks did when they got here? The Italians? You know, the Maltese. Why is it the Maltese are all still out in Essendon, you know? And the Greeks are still centralised in Oakley and Richmond. And it's just generational. It's what happens. And it shits me because Greeks are like that too. You know, when you've got a Greek fish and chip shop that was established 20, 30 years ago and it changes hands, and then you get someone with some smart-ass opinion, it's like, oh, Indians are running it now. It's like, yeah, because some Greek sold it to them, you dickhead. Some Greek couldn't be fucked doing it anymore and sold the business, made his money, and sold it to the next gen that's come in. And whether he's Indian or Chinese or whatever, who gives a shit? Now, I get there are bad seeds, but there are bad seeds everywhere. It's just media blowing shit up and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It's just fucked, you know? And I think the Superbowl triggered me, you know, with the far right, can't come into grips with why they would allow Bad Bunny to perform. It's like, why? He's literally the most popular artist of all time with the most sales, who won the award for the best album, you know, the most marketable, popular artist in the world on the planet. And you don't know why they didn't pick Kid Rock to do the Super Bowl? Kid Rock couldn't do the Super Bowl in his heyday, at his peak. You know, when it was a devil without a cause. You may as well just get Fred Durst out there with a revival act. Like, seriously. I don't know. Anyway. I actually don't know what I thought I was going to gain out of this, because I'm still driving like an absolute dickhead. And, oh, God. My neck's absolutely killing me. I found a voucher for a massage joint in Oakley that my mum had gotten me. Like, I found it like a tub in an envelope I clearly had valued. I didn't want to lose it, but then I ended up losing the tub and the envelope. I found it the other day. And the sad part is, it's a voucher for a free massage. And, you know, my mum's a regular there, so you know it's not a rub and tug. And I have a legitimate pain, like a pinched nerve in my shoulder, which is giving me migraines. Like, that's how hardcore it is. And I've had it for a long time. And I finally feel like my mum kept barking at me, you got to go get a mat. And I didn't even know which store it was, because I'd forgotten where the voucher was. And there's a bunch of Thai joints in Oakley. And I finally found the voucher, found the name of the shop. So I Googled the operating hours. And I'm like, none of these work for me. And I think it's like 10 to 6 or something, or 10 to 8. And that isn't enough of a window for me to organise to get myself down there for a freaking rub down. And it just sort of, I said to myself, what am I doing? Like, that is actually pathetic. So this last couple of weeks really, work has been up and down, so I've been trying to take it a bit easy. I've tried going back to the gym more regularly. I woke up this morning stiff as fuck. I was walking around like a zombie, couldn't bend my knees, couldn't lift my shoulders. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? It's like, idiot, you're 41 and you've been to the gym like 3 times in the last 5 days. What'd you expect? It's so sad not being able to function the way I used to. It was beautiful. Anyway, I think this is enough of a, what's it called? A waffle. Maybe I should do these more often. I mean, not really. I mean, this isn't substantive. You know what's sad? I actually approached someone for a podcast the other day. They are in personal styling. When I first got wind of them, it was literally 2010. And I've been following them on social media since then. They were a personal stylist, and we ran in a few similar circles. That's how they came on my radar. And then they've disappeared off social media the last 5 years, and I just pretty much forgot about them. I think I might have shot a message out to them via another medium. I can't remember. But they popped up again a couple of weeks ago, and they're into social branding now. And it's interesting. It's the second reinvented social brander that has appeared on my socials that is in my indirect network of people. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I've messaged them to say, hey man, like, welcome back to socials, blah, blah, blah. Curious to learn more about what you've been up to. And they're like an advocate for, you know, female empowerment, identity, all that sort of shit as well. I thought it'd be a good chat. So they've said, oh, you got to contact my PA. I'm like, all right. So I'll contact your PA. I do that, and I put forward what I thought was a pretty decent cover letter. Like, you know, this is what we do at the Duke Leverage Show. We'd be keen. I've been following, you know, your client or your boss or whatever since 2010, before any of this was even a thing. I'd love to have them on and just to discuss A, B, C, D, E. And their response is like, oh, you know, thanks for following this, blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, she's focusing on, like, female empowerment, spirituality or something, and I can't remember what the last one was. So, yeah, it just doesn't fit into the time schedule. I'm like, are you kidding? You haven't got 3 hours in the week? Like, all right, no problem. Holler back when you're ready. All right, man. I get it. Everyone wants the dollar bill. I don't know. Speaking of that, I think my rent's due on the studio today. I actually haven't been to the studio in over a month, which is sad. Last time I was there, I'm pretty sure was when I did the episode with the midweek rub, and that was over a month ago. And that sucks. I hate paying rent on that place and not being in there at all. Don't know what I'm going to do about that. Because when I think about it, I'm actively paying like $6,000 a year to have this space, which doesn't really get utilized anymore. It's sad, but yeah, that's just life. We're going into the 10th year of the pod, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with it, whether I'm going to wrap it. I really don't want to wrap it up. Like, it's still fun. And I really can't get rid of that space, because that space is the nostalgia bin. That's where I get anchored and just sit in the past and get depressed. Because everything in there would have to go somewhere too. And I don't really want to get rid of that stuff. Actually, you know what? That's what it reminded me of. Fuck. I'm sidetracking my own thoughts. Sidetrack thoughts. Some voiceover artist that I follow on socials, right before I went to bed last night, put up a post, and he's a millennial. I think is almost exactly the same age as me. And he just started ranting about all the things from childhood, that we had that are familiar to us, and things that, we sort of see that people never ever see. And he mentioned things like toys, video games, movies, movie quotes, commercial jingles on TV, like 131166 Pizza Hut delivery. That will never leave me, ever. I'll be on my deathbed with Alzheimer's, and that will be there. And he mentioned the Super Soaker. And I went, fuck, the Super Soaker. And I tried to remember, and I Googled it, and it was a Super Soaker 50. It was a single bottle top with a pump action on the bottom. My mum got me that for my birthday. And I still remember being in that bedroom, opening my presents at like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. with my sister. And we were young, we were really young. And I can still visualize my old bedroom, and that was when I shared a room with my sister. That tells you how young I was. I still remember sitting on the floor, and there was multiple presents, with my birthday so close to Christmas as well. So, the Super Soaker was one of them. And I still remember seeing it and feeling the plastic and the bottle and how crisp it was, and I couldn't wait to fill it up and get outside and start shooting my neighbor and terrorizing the neighborhood and all that sort of stuff. And so it triggered another thought. I'm like, fuck, what presents have I gotten as a kid that I actually vividly remember? And who the fuck's beeping? No, it's not me. And I remembered, I ran through the brain archive. The earliest present I remember ever getting was a Leonardo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figurine. And I was about 4, 5. Because I still remember waking up, going to the Christmas tree, opening it, and losing my mind. And then my dad was going to work. So I'm assuming it must have been my actual birthday. It wasn't Christmas Day. My dad was going to work, and I remember getting into bed with my mum, sharing a bed with my mum. And I remember it being dark, and I still can vividly see my parents' bedroom and the light from the hallway, because my dad's getting ready for work, and I'm sitting there with the silhouette of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figurine, and I've got the sword in his hands, and I'm just making him animated and play, just letting my imagination create whatever the fuck we did back then. And you know what? I actually found a set of all 4 on Marketplace for about $100 a little while ago, and I messaged him because I fucking want them. I can't remember if I've got them at my mum's house in a tub. I know I've got a tub full of shit, of toys and stuff like that at my mum's place. I'm just curious as to whether I've got them there. If I don't, I think I might go out and buy them, even though I don't have any money. So I'm just trying to think of iconic toys that my mum got me. I know I got a Talk Boy one year after Home Alone came out, and that's probably when I first started doing voiceovers. So, do the maths. Home Alone came out, 1992, I think? So I would have been 8, 9, somewhere around there. I remember one year my godfather got me a boogie board and he got my sister earrings because it was a jeweler. And because my toy was huge, my present was massive because it was a full boogie board wrapped in paper. And my sister got a set of earrings. They had to explain to my sister that her earrings were worth a lot more than my boogie board because my sister was like, she had the nature of, well, if we've both got pieces of bread, why can't I have his bread as well? Interesting how things like that play out, yeah? I remember the year my godfather bought me a Sega Master System. That was the first console we ever had. So it was 1990. So effectively I've been a gamer for, 35 years, 36 years. And then I remember Easter, like 4 months later, my godfather turned up. So my sister's godfather and his son, who was my godfather, they turned up at Easter and they had a copy of Ninja Gaiden on Sega Master System, the card. I still have that card in my desk at my office. Fucking brilliant game. What other iconic presents have I gotten? I don't know. There's got to be more when I was a kid. Oh, pair of Reeboks. The pumps. I got a pair of Reebok pumps in 94. It's when I first started playing basketball, like for a team. So my mum saved up and bought me a pair of original Reebok pumps, man. And for an upper, lower class family, that was huge. Absolutely huge. And then the last gift that I can actually think of that stood out was the hi-fi. The JVC stereo, which with a 3 CD stacker. This was in 1996, going into year 7. And that was huge for me because my mum told me that she had that thing on lay-by for a long time. And for its time, it was an expensive unit. And I still remember setting it up in the middle of the night and just looking at the LED screen, listening to the first CDs like in that thing. I still remember it. It was like LaBouche, all these progressive trance, progressive house CDs from back in the day. And I just remember falling asleep to that shit every night. Robert Miles' Children, I listened to that on rotation. And it's interesting now, we're 30 years on and I have a cassette tape with Robert Miles' Children written on it, tattooed on my wrist. I still have that JVC hi-fi. It's in the studio. And it's a purely analog system attached to purely analog speakers, which sound incredible. And I actually produced nearly 20 years of music using that system. Oh, it's all full circle. Anyway, I just added an extra 10 minutes of waffle. So we're at, nearly 40 now. I think I'm done. So, I don't know when the next pod's actually going to be. Anyone has any ideas, let me know. But, smoke crack.
Hold up.